It is recording right now.
You said
This is how we record our audio.
I mean, how else do you test things? Testing 1, 2,
All
1,
right,
2.
it's sibilance, sausage sandwich, it's
Say 7 sizzling sausages sizzling in a saucepan.
what she said. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? 7 sizzling.
Sausages sizzling in a saucepan.
So you say sizzling twice?
Yes, 7 sizzling sausages sizzling in a saucepan.
Wouldn't it be 7 succulent sausages sizzling in a saucepan?
And now you froze.
Aww.
You're not.
Did I freeze, or was I just still for too long?
No, you froze for a hot second. But it's fine. It's fine. It was like literally 1 second.
Okay. I'm gonna stop this recording, go listen back to it real quick, and then we'll see if we have gravy.
Okay. All right. Hi, Jen. You're Jen.
Hi, Alex. I'm Jen. Hi, I'm Jen. And welcome to my podcast. Hi, I'm Jen. And this is my best friend.
Hi, Jen. I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex. I'm Jen. We could just do this over forever. Why am I blurry? Why do you do that? Why? Who said you
It's
couldn't?
fine. Soft focus. Soft focus.
Why?
It's sexy. Soft focus is sexy.
Why do you do this?
Soft focus is sexy. It's fine. It'll auto adjust. Don't worry. It's already doing it. It's already doing it.
Why?
Don't worry.
Why are you like this?
It's adjusting.
It's taking its sweet ass time. There we go.
There
Okay.
you go. There you go. You just gotta lean back.
Just don't move.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
Don't move. Only talk.
You know, like I know, that's impossible.
I don't want to piss off the camera. We've already had so many issues with technology today. Yeah, I just don't want to piss off the camera.
At least we now know we can find any meeting thing that works, and we could just use the external recording schmorty.
Oh yeah. Like this is working. It's not perfect, but you know what? We're not going for perfect. That is
No. Perfection is the furthest thing from our demographic. Hell, if we really wanted to, we could honestly do typically what we would do any other weeknight, which is just, what you doing on Messenger? How many times have we done that shit?
For real.
Hours.
For real. Well, and not to mention,
hours.
now that we've gotten this to work, we could potentially get all 4 of us on at once.
Oh, that would be a great, like, a round table discussion.
Yeah.
I enjoy how we are. I for a hot second fully forgot we were recording, and then I was like, shit, we are actually recording. Right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I can edit anything out.
Yeah, I know. You're probably in the first. That's the reason why.
I won't, but I could.
I won't. I mean, here's something I think you should do for your podcast. I think you should build a Discord. People don't understand how much Discord servers fucking rock your fucking socks.
All right.
Because you can do everything via Discord.
Yeah.
You can run a chat room, your whole server, record, do live streaming. Like, say you got a wild hair up your ass and you just wanted to do a live stream where people can chime in and talk to Jen. Like, shit, chime in, talk to Jen. You can I've even had Discord servers host, like, movie nights.
Heck yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I know that it would be perfect for, like, connecting with, like, other Prince fans, since I could go on a full rant. So earlier today, I was looking back at a recording, and I started the recording off with, like, I'm wearing a Prince shirt and I was drinking coffee out of a Prince mug, and then I was like, you would think I'd want to talk about Prince today, But no, I want to talk about pizza. And then I go on to talk about pizza for a full hour. A full hour, Alex. I texted Rachel and I'm like, I can't post this episode. It is so embarrassing. Nobody wants to hear a chubby white girl in Oklahoma talk about pizza for a full 58 fucking minutes.
Wrong. Do you understand? So I watch a lot of fucking useless, trash ass fucking YouTube videos. Do you know how popular tier lists are now? Where people just tell their opinion on cereal, ramen, pizza places, fucking everything.
Oops. That's not the shape of my head, so I can't get these to stay on.
But the tier lists are big. Like, so you may not think people would be interested in that, and you'll find people who are super interesting. Because here's the thing. Pizza's a very polarizing thing. Pizza is polarizing. Pizza
is polarizing. That's the name of the episode.
Pizza is polarizing.
Oh, you betcha.
Well, the reason I say pizza is polarizing because I'm not a fan of it. It's a time and a place for me, and you know it's a time and a place. I am not a person who's all about putting pineapple willy-nilly on anything.
You don't love pizza, but you like it. You will eat it. We have shared many a pizza together.
I would go on to say I do love certain types of pizza. Like, I do love certain types of pizza. I love...
Like, Pizza Luce, man? Right?
I miss it. I miss Pizza Luce.
Yes,
I miss it.
That reaction right there.
Oh, I miss pizza. Like, I woke up the other day with a hardcore craving for Pizza Luce, and I was so mad because I can't get it.
Because here's the thing. Even though wings and pizza together is such a popular combination, I can't name a lot of pizza or restaurants that have both incredible pizza and incredible wings. Pizza Luce is one of them. They have great pizza and great wings. Like Mazio's, their whole selling point is like famous wings, great pizza, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of your wings. They have like super ultra breaded wings.
Yeah, I can give you a example of probably why they did that.
Domino's, another one. I love their pizza. You and I both know they have shit trash wings. And that's just our opinion. Well.
It's an opinion that is kind of based in fact. I don't think fatty wings are good. No. Nobody does. Well, and there's a reason why they're the cheapest cut.
And you notice how they don't spend money to advertise their wings. They spend money to advertise everything else on their menu, but they're like, yeah, and we got wings.
Yeah, by the way, we also have wings. Well, if that's something you're interested in.
Boneless wings are so much
fucking chicken nuggets
now because they're chicken nuggets. People love nuggets. And I'm the type of person where, like, if I'm gonna eat chicken wings, I want them to be flats. And if I can't have flats, I would sooner just get I'd sooner still get real bone-in wings, but it is a very rare occasion that I will actually opt in for a boneless wing since it's just a nugget. It's a tasty nugget, but
nope.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's a nugget.
Nope.
You were looking over. What was you looking at? Oh, hi.
It's Calcifer. He was gonna fall off my bed.
Oh no! Would you do me a favor? Would you show the people your nails?
Fuck yeah, Tony Chopper.
Fuck yeah.
So let me give a little background for the people, because honestly, I would love to talk to you about nails, because here's the thing.
Let's do it.
Okay, here's the thing. We're gonna get into y'all are gonna find out how bipolar this conversation y'all are gonna transpire and take a journey with us on is more bipolar than I am, okay?
And I'm here for it.
These conversations be because you're always a part of these shenanigans. You are the she to my nanigans, okay?
You know what? Because you let them shenan once, guaranteed they're going to shenan again.
Shenan again.
We can go ahead and say that that's our dad joke of the day.
I would actually say the language that was in that, but I'm going to keep your girl, without that word.
Girl.
Well, there's a specific word. There's a specific word, okay?
You can say what you want. I'm not monetized yet.
Wait, no, hold on. I could say it, but I'm not, because if you let a shenan, he gonna shenan again, okay? There's a certain word, I throw that word around like confetti. I'm a little
bit like, why ain't she saying it?
Because the YouTube gods and the Instagrammy gods, as soon as they hear that word, they yank that bitch. They'll yank it.
Speech, huh? They consider
yes,
it
they'll yank that bitch. So that's why I'm not saying it. Yeah. Not because I can't say it.
No,
you know me. They'll yank your shit, and I'm not doing that to you.
I am so not privy to like the YouTube rules at all, aside from like copyright. Because I understand copyright. Went to college for that. But so, for instance, like. I only really watch one podcast because I'm boring as fuck. So I was watching The Bald and the Beautiful,
which used to be
well, it's still so they're two completely different shows.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Trixie and Katya collectively have 3 separate internet series. They have.
I know for sure Trixie has one.
Well, and then Trixie has her own. Yeah, Trixie has her own channel where she does her own private stuff that Katya is not on, unless she's like invited. But the two of them together, they have 3 separate internet series. They have which is on the World of Wonder channel, since that's the production company that does RuPaul's Drag Race. They do I Like to Watch, which is on the I believe it's the Netflix Still Watching YouTube account, because there's like YouTube is a Joke, which is all of their stand-up, and then or not YouTube, Netflix is a Joke. I think it's just called Netflix Still Watching. So yeah, they have I Like to Watch, and then they have The Bald and the Beautiful, which is their own podcast, which is on the Trixie and Katya YouTube channel. Yeah, so.
Hey, but you know one thing,
not being a super drag queen fangirl.
No, hold on. But I know that I fucking love Katya.
Yes.
College. I said her entire rap the entirety of us being in college.
I don't know how to better explain it. Aside from saying, and this is politically incorrect, this is socially incorrect, this is culturally incorrect. Katya is my spirit animal. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Like, she is the essence of me if I were a gay man from Massachusetts.
Yeah, dead ass. See, how I look at Katya is Katya is that bitch. I fucking love Katya is that bitch.
Love her.
She can. Okay. Hold on. Sidebar.
I love how she's so open about, like, yeah, I'm a fucking crackhead. Like, I haven't smoked crack in years. I'm still a crackhead.
Hey, you know what? And I'm honestly 110% super fucking proud of her for being like, I need to take time away from doing this because I'm slipping back into shit I said I was never going to do again.
Yeah.
I'm always happy when she takes a step back because I'm like, look at you, baby, prioritizing yourself. Look at you, baby. You want to know who else I love? Motherfucking Bob. Bob, the motherfucking drag queen, can snatch my wig. Bob, if you ever see this, look me in the ocular sockets. I fucking love you.
So Bob the drag queen performed at the Oklahoma City Bricktown Comedy Club.
I want to see Bob so bad.
Back in, oh God, it was during the summer. It was during the summer.
I think you said you and Rachel went in July.
It was weeks after her mother had passed. And, you know, Bob was like a Q&A.
July.
Bob was doing a Q&A after, like, at the very end of the show. And Rachel raised her hand, and that was the last question that Bob the Drag Queen was going to go through. Right. And Rachel was like, "So what?" She was giving advice. That's what it was. It wasn't just Q&A. She was giving advice. She was like, "What advice do you have over, like, my mom just passed?" And Bob's like, "Oh my God, same." And the house is in my name, but I'm not living there. And he's like, "Oh my God, same." And he's like, "When did your mom die?" And she's like just last month. And he's like, "Okay, girl, I can't do this on the stage." And like,
you come with me.
Invited her back to the green room afterwards so that she could continue the conversation with him. And she said that they had like a wonderful hug and that she was crying. She came out of the green room crying. And I'm so glad that she was able to have that moment. I'm so glad Bob the Drag Queen blessed her with that moment, because baby girl really deserved it. Anytime big names like Bob the Drag Queen, Monet Exchange is doing the Bricktown Comedy Club again. Lady Bunny was just at the Bricktown Comedy Club. Like, anytime those big names play at the Bricktown Comedy Club, like it I don't know. You know, I have a very little filter. It makes my pussy quiver. Can I say that on YouTube? That's not hate speech. That's love speech.
I mean, we're further enough in the video. I don't.
Right. It's like, you can't say it within the first 30 seconds or something like that.
No, dead ass. You cannot swear. I think it's now like the first minute. You can't swear in the first minute because you'll get demonetized. So a lot of YouTube
I'm not
videos
monetized. So.
Right. But it's further than demonetization. Like, oftentimes they kill YouTube channels because YouTube will bury. They won't recommend you.
Oh,
like one strike is okay. Don't do that again. Two strikes, really don't do that again. Like, once you're 3, they start to bury it. Like, you remember back in college, I used to watch a YouTuber, Glam and Gore. She used to do they killed her page essentially.
No, because of hate
she
speech?
does
or
no
because of swearing.
No, because of gore. Although it's makeup, it's fake gore. Make it make sense, right? Like Mortal Kombat, the fatalities for YouTubers who are gamers, some of them either have to, like, I've noticed, like, Dashi, when he plays Mortal Kombat now.
Yeah.
If you looked at his shit from back in Mortal Kombat X to now, he has to turn the screen black and white when a fatality happens. Because of blood. And it's like, but here's the problem. It's fake! It's not real.
Right.
Nobody's died. Hey, guess what? I just decapitated Johnny Cage in a video game. You want to know what I can do? Go to the home screen and select him again. Homie's still a playable character. It's to the point where people are trying to... I understand trying to coddle your kids. I understand trying to protect your kids. That's not where this is coming from. This is... You guys are protecting your kids to the... This goes back to anytime I tell people about don't shelter your children. Here's why I tell you not to shelter your kids. Sheltered kids become sneaky.
Is it even sheltering, or is it just like, so it's like that pendulum swing, you know, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was all of our kids are desensitized to gore and gun violence and fighting and all this other stuff. And everything, sex, swearing, you know, drug use. And now it's like you have to, before we even say the word, we have to say, like, trigger warning, I'm going to say the word blood, or trigger warning, I'm going to say the word gore, or trigger warning, I'm going to say
the word killed or death or die. And it's like,
well, and that's why, like, you, for like the algorithm or something, like, so many people are saying, like, you know, unalived instead of killed or murdered, you know, and I'm like, really? Where we have to, like...
But that muddies the water so much, especially... I watch a lot of docu stuff.
Yeah.
Like YouTubers that talk about documentaries, serial killers, stuff like that. And for you to say, oh, they were unalived, that muddies the water, because what happened isn't they were unalived. That's too broad of a spectrum. That's like painting a barn with a like that's like painting a barn with like one of those sprayers that they have to like spray the sod on the side of the road, that green mushy stuff that you see them like when they're planting seeds on the side of the road for grass in the summer. They used to do it all the time in Minnesota, where it had that bluish greenish sludge on the side of the road. And they take like a giant like fire hose and spray it everywhere because it's just water and grass seeds. It's just to replace the grass seeds that were probably dug up from cars running into it and stuff like that.
I'm gonna say, yep, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, think about it like a fire hose. It's like you're taking a fire hose. It's like watering your grass with a fire hose, essentially. Yeah. Like, it's too broad of a spectrum. And it's like, maybe don't desensitize your children, because now you're making them overly sensitive.
Exactly. That's what it is. At first it was like, oh, kids are desensitized to everything, and now they're over correcting it, and where they're much too sensitive to stuff. And I'm like, look, if it's a part of the circle of life, birth, death, sex, leave it alone. It's natural.
That's normal.
Okay.
Like, I understand if you're catering to a certain audience. Sure. Say you're making content specifically for young kids, then yeah, feel free to to use different language.
And I specifically make content that's not for kids. And you want to know why?
Because you're a fucking adult.
Fuck them kids.
But on a true fact, it's not in the cards for me. I honestly hate it when people call me, like we talked about this last night, I hate it when people call me selfish. Like, as we all know, unless you're living under a fucking rock, to which, wake the fuck up and pull your head out of your ass for 10 seconds. Shit is actually happening around you. I get told, and I hear all the time, that women are so selfish. They don't want to have babies anymore. Women are so selfish. They don't want to have babies anymore. They're so selfish. They're so selfish. They're so selfish. Why would I want to have a baby if every single day that kid leaves my house, I have to worry about whether or not they're going to come home? Mm-hmm. Why on God's green earth would I give you a child for you to do that?
Yeah.
And not to mention, this goes deeper than that. So you and I, obviously, different skin colors. So we have a different scope on the world.
We are?
Shocking. I know. Shocking. I know.
I don't see color.
Oh, that made my ass itch.
I know.
Oh, every part of my booty hole got all types of itchy. Oh, girl, I almost pinched your nose off with I almost clenched with a divine Kegel.
The divine Kegel. Just don't go up there with the ripping and the tearing, not with them nails, no.
Oh, you remember the ones I had right before I left Minnesota that were drastically shorter than this, but these two fingers were blood red? And you were just like, no, why did you do that? I was like, fingers. And you were like, stop that. Girl, they were blood red because I like the color red. Red is a very powerful color. Red elicits a lot of emotion, I found out.
Yes.
People either love it or they hate the color red.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, red is a color. Only color I'm not a huge fan of, but I came around to it this summer, was goldenrod yellow. Because how many years? You've known me for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen me wear yellow?
This is the first time that I saw you wearing yellow. And because I would try to convince you constantly, like, yellow looks good on you.
But it was because, no, yellow looks good on me now because I'm tanner. Back when I was in Minnesota, I was such a neutral tone that yellow washed me out. Mm-hmm. I looked ill. But ever since moving to Texas and spending a lot of time outside, you remember my old foundation shade, the only foundation shade I was ever able to find for a long time was Fenty Beauty 420 neutral. Mm-hmm. I'm closer to 430 now.
Ooh. Oh.
I'm just tan. I've just been outside and I'm tan. But,
I'm an indoor cat. So.
You burn, baby. That's why you don't go outside. There is no. You burned so bad on that cruise. I felt so bad.
I still have tan lines on my back.
Girl, I still got tan lines on my titties. Every morning I take a shower and I look down. I'm like, well, y'all go away. God damn. But that was I can't wait. That was so fun. I can't wait. I'm ready to do it again.
Cabo San Lucas.
Girl, but here's the thing. Mama said she was like, you and Jenn pick. She was like, we don't even have to do Cabo. She was like, y'all want to do something else? Y'all pick. I picked this last one and I was like, okay, you know where I want to go? Let's go to Bora Bora.
Ooh!
Let's go sit in, because they have the all-inclusive resorts where you are on like a little, I would like to call them like a bungalow.
Yeah.
But they're connected by like the bridges where you can just like, and you're on the water, but it's shallow. Girl, Bora Bora with your feet in some blue water, looking like, yes.
But that's not a cruise. That's like a resort stay.
But she said, she was like, we don't have to do a cruise. She's like, if y'all can't find a cruise. She was like, if we can't find a cruise we want to go on, let's go to an all-inclusive resort.
Okay, we're gonna go to Bora Bora.
We're gonna go to Bora Bora. But I was like, we wanted to take a Mediterranean cruise, and she and I looked up Mediterranean cruises, and when I tell you $15,000, I was like, absolutely not.
They're pricey because they first of all, you have to catch it in Europe, and but it takes you all over. It takes you to all of the good places.
It was going to go to Italy. It was going to go to Greece. It was going to go
to like Turkey.
Yes. And I was like, I want to do that. I really do want to do that. But I can't come up with no $15,000. Although she did say, she was like, if we can't do 2026, because she knows both of us experienced...
I was about to say homelessness. That's not right. Or unemployed.
Unemployment. No, I was trying to find a way of tap dancing around the actual truth.
Why?
But I'm gonna be truthful here. You got wrongfully fucking fired.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Me and 100 other people.
Our entire job. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, yeah. Laid off. Sure. Laid off. That's what we're going to call it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, you were laid off. I mean, that's what my old company is calling it. They're calling it laid. That's not what it was. Nobody got severance. Layoff implies there was severance.
I hold on. I did get severance. Right. I did get severance, but yes. The problem of it was just like, we know why it happened.
Yeah.
What they told us is not. It's like, we're not stupid. We're not buying the shit you're shoveling. Kiss my ass. Moving on. But back to what I was going to say about kids. It happens oddly very much with African American girls. So recently, as you know, I'm super excited about it. I'm super happy for her. Blue Ivy is the voice of Nala in Mufasa, which is the second live action Lion King. Okay. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, good on you. That's great. But she went to the premiere, and mind you, she's wearing a floor length gown. It's just strapless. So all you can really see is from like here to like here.
Right. Like you can't even see any décolletage. It's just,
there really is. She's a child. There is no décolletage.
Right. Sternum and shoulders.
Sternum and shoulders. She's a child. There is no. But you want to know what everybody says? She's dressed far too mature for her age. She's dressed far. And then you hear it in the Black community. Oh, she fast. Oh, she fast. That burns me up. Mm-hmm. That burns me up because I constantly heard it. Oh, you can't wear red lipstick. That's fast. You can't wear that. It's fast. And it's like, why is it that African American kids, boys and girls, are matured at such a rate? Because girls, to tell you the truth, the first time I noticed, because of course you're a kid, mm-hmm. First time I noticed being sexualized for my body type or anything, I was 8.
Damn!
8.
That is young.
8. First time I was sexualized, where you could feel the eyes of people sizing you up. 8. 8. 8. I was in the 3rd fucking grade. 8. And here's the thing. All throughout junior high, middle school, and high school, here's the thing. I was not a curvy girl. You know me, like I will shout it from the rooftops. I was a proud member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. I wore my badge with pride. I got my first training bra in the 5th grade. And I was a full A cup clear until I was in the 8th grade, baby. I was happy with my itty bitty little titties. I was happy with them. Because here's the thing. I had titties. I went from being flat-chested little boy looking to I got something. It may not be a lot, but I got something. And then I get to 8th grade and I'm a B cup, and I was happy being a B cup. And then junior year, I was a C cup. I didn't start getting thick until college.
Yeah.
And mostly because of birth control, which thank you for birth control, because fuck yeah. I went from a C cup, me graduating from high school, to a D, to a double D, to a triple D. So
Sure did.
I'm no longer a part of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, but I remember my roots. The thing is, guys didn't give a shit about my personality. Guys didn't give a shit about how smart I was. Guys didn't give a shit about me. And a lot of dudes I had crushes on in high school, I didn't come up on their radar until they wanted to fuck me.
Right, naturally. That's how it is.
And then by the time they wanted to fuck me, I was looking at them like, the fuck I want to do anything with you. Like, first and foremost, you've been sowing your wild oats like nobody's business. The fuck I want to be a member of a team? Mm-mm. Fuck out of here. No. Thanks. I'm either, because here's the thing. I say this in the most honest and truthful way. And my significant other, he knows this. I'm a selfish bitch. I don't play nice. I don't share my things. So you think about sharing yourself, stay loyal or stay limping, pimping.
Right. You can just stay for them streets.
No, stay loyal or stay limping, pimping. I'm gonna get you. I'm a selfish person. Because at the end of the day, if I'm pouring time and energy and love and acceptance and all of that into you, and you gonna go run and give it to somebody else, I'll burn this house down. I'll burn this house down before I let another bitch walk into my house.
Lisa, burn the house down.
But Angela Bassett, I watched Waiting to Exhale as a child. I'll burn this bitch down before I let another motherfucker walk in my house. In my house and touch my shit. Nope, that's not happening. That's not happening. But little girls are sexualized early. Little boys are demonized early. Little black boys are cute until they turn 10. And then they're a threat. They're dangerous. Now you're a young man. 10. But it happens predominantly in the black community. And it makes me sick because I'm like, they're kids. They're children. So I get called selfish because as a black woman, I say with my whole chest, you are undeserving of my offspring. I'm selfish. This world has shown me time and time again, you are undeserving of my lineage. I'm selfish. Well, that's what you put on earth to do. No. I'm put on earth to watch empires crumble. I'm put on earth to root.
People fucking say that.
I came out of my mama kicking and screaming as a full-blooded piece of shit. I'm the nicest. You know, I used to introduce myself to people like I'm the nicest bitch you'll ever meet. But understand, I'm still a bitch. And that's fine. I will be a bitch. Because at least being a bitch means I stood up for myself.
Yes. I have a lot more respect for a bitch than somebody who isn't genuine, isn't authentic,
yeah,
who hides their true self.
Yeah, because if you a bitch, then you a bitch. And what am I finna do about it? Nothing. I don't have to like you. That's the thing that people don't understand is People don't have to like you. You don't have to like other people. Stop trying to run around being everybody's best fucking friend. Not everybody deserves to have you as a friend. And that's the shit I had to figure out on my own. Not everybody deserves to have you as a friend. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how long you've been here. You and I have been friends for 11 years.
Yeah.
August 2013?
2013, that's right.
So we've been friends for 11 years. I have had friends that I've known longer than you, and I don't talk to them. Not because there's a difference. Not because we had a big falling out or anything like that. Sometimes it's just time and distance. Sometimes the person that they're not anymore, which is good. I'm happy that you grew. I'm happy that you changed. That's the whole point of life, is to grow and to learn and to change. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that'll pull you apart from people. But then there were other people that I really just started to navigate and to look at how they behaved and how they acted towards other people. And I was just like,
yeah, it turns you off.
Because it's an energy drain.
Right. And if their vibrations aren't matching yours, sorry, bye.
It's not even a sorry for me anymore. It's just, fuck you thought was going to happen.
It's just, bye.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? Did you think I was going to sit here and just let you? No. No. So, it's a lot, but it breaks my heart because thankfully, I'm very thankful and very, it's weird because you can't really say thankful, but the loss of life could have been worse. There were only 2 people and the shooter who perished. And of course, one of them was a little kid. Unnecessary. One of them was a teacher. Equally unnecessary. One of them was the shooter themselves. Equally unnecessary. Mm-hmm. The thing is, people villainize and vilify people with mental health disorders instead of trying to reach out and fucking help them.
Yeah.
How many school shootings could have been completely averted had people just had access to mental health?
All of them.
Honestly, you want to know what happens?
Statistically, all of them.
It's statistically all of them. You want to know the funny thing I was thinking earlier today? Well, it's not funny, haha. It's funny like, huh, okay. Is that Australia, the country of Australia, had one mass shooting. One. They signed gun reform immediately. They make it to the point where you have to go through so many checks to get a gun that people are like, only people who really own guns are like people who are avid hunters or people who live out in the outback, where they're like, you got to have a gun because you might got a wild animal coming onto your property.
Right. Hunting protection against a beast.
And it works. Australia hasn't had a shooting since. The only year I can think in recent history we didn't have a mass shooting was the fucking year we were inside the goddamn house.
2020.
That is fucked. That is absolutely fucked. And the only reason we're not getting gun reform, and this is shit people can look up. This is shit you can easily look up, but people are complacent. They're not going to look it up. Is because the NRA has weaved itself so far into senators and legislators' pockets.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about money.
And it's like, it pissed me off because a lot of people this last election cycle kept saying, well, I'm voting for the children. I'm voting for the children. The fuck do you mean you're voting for the kids? They're dying. Still dying.
Yeah.
And now these parents, the ones whose kids are in the hospital right now, are spending Christmas in the hospital with their kid. The family of the teacher who passed on is spending Christmas knowing that that person's not going to be there. The child who died, Christmas gifts probably under the tree. No one to open them. This is Sandy Hook all over again. We never learn. And it's because people care about the fucking almighty dollar. You never fucking learn. Listen, wake the fuck up. This has never been about your fucking kids. It's always been about your fucking money.
Yeah. I know.
This has never been about your kids.
I absolutely agree. Well, especially when people go on about, like, you know, like, oh, it's because I'm a good Christian. And it's like, you do not, you don't care about what's in that book.
10 toes down. Just
like all the other people who rally for the clown that you support, you all worship the dollar.
And the thing is, the part that makes me so, I find it super funny, because I tell people, I'm like, I've been raised with a Christian background, but I find it uncomfortable to be in a church. Now, people would sit there and be like, oh, well, that's because the devil's in you. No, it's because you guys preach love and spout hate. In my brain, the two of them can't go together. You preach love. You spout hate.
Yes.
That doesn't fit.
I feel the exact same way. That's why, like, and even in elementary school and then again in high school, we went to church for a little bit because my dad was like, that's what normal people do, and I'm trying to just have a normal life. And then we got kicked out of the church. And I was
Wait a minute. Why? Because you asked questions?
Yes. I got kicked out of Sunday school more than once because I asked questions. Yeah, I asked too many questions. And I think they weren't happy that my dad was in his second marriage at the time. Because they were like, oh, you got divorced? Well, that's a sin, you know. And I asked way too many questions. So, for instance, like in Sunday school, so I'm in like first grade, maybe second grade during this time, super young. And this is my first time going to church on the regular. So this is like kind of sort of my first time really going in depth about the stories that you normally hear in Sunday school. So like, for instance, Noah's Ark, big story. Everybody knows that story.
Right.
And they were like,
the story of Moses and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Right. And so one of the questions that I had was, are we supposed to just be okay with the fact that, you know, God got halfway through his video game and wasn't happy with the choices that he made, and so he just ripped out the cartridge and then just hit reset? Like, we're just supposed to be cool with that? And they're like, well, you're misinterpreting this. And I'm like, am I? And then I was also like, where's the dinosaurs? And they were like, there were no dinosaurs. And I'm like, but there were? They weren't in the Bible, because that was like millions of years apart from each other. But like
that's the answer. And I'm surprised they didn't just
dinosaurs, you know.
That. I'm surprised they didn't just say by that time the dinosaurs were extinct. That's the honest answer. Is like the Mesothelic era, which is like the dinosaur era.
Mesozoic era?
Thank you. The Mesozoic era.
I think you were about to say the mesothelioma. The mesothelioma era, you know.
No, that's it. We lived through the mesothelioma era. Remember, with all them commercials? Have you or your loved one been impacted by mesothelioma?
I love when they're like, have you or someone you know died? And I'm like, yeah, I've died. What's up?
Bitch! Yeah, I've died.
I'm dead on the inside. That counts.
Girl, my check engine light has been on since 14.
Oh, my check engine light is literally on, and I don't know why.
No, really, I don't. Like, my hip still hurts, and I don't know why.
It's the outside of your hip, or is it like your hip joint?
No, it's like the outside of my hip. Like, anytime I walk or stand still, and I'm like, what is it? What is it? I just think I was probably sleeping like a Doomagama dumbass.
You might just need to stretch it. I know I will. So here's the thing. If I walk too much, which is a dumb statement. I walked too much. Not like, I walked from Wisconsin to Illinois. No, I walked in like around the neighborhood which is
That's
more
what I
than what
think
my body is used to.
I think that's what it is. Because I walk to the mailbox.
My hip flexor will be sore.
I walked to the mailbox yesterday and today, and I'm like, why do my hips hurt? Bitch, because you don't walk nowhere.
Yeah. My hip flexors will be sore, so I have to like stretch them, and then I have to kind of strengthen them by doing some hip flexor exercises.
But here's the thing I'm super confused about.
I'm old.
We went swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
And no pain.
Okay, because with swimming, you are working your muscles, yeah, but there's less pressure on your muscles because of the lack of gravity or whatever.
Okay, so it's just less resistance.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So when Kelly and I were in Mexico, we were by the pool when they happened to start doing one of their water aerobics classes. And then we were, we had nothing better to do. So we were like, fuck yeah, let's do some water aerobics. And holy shit, my muscles were sore.
Oh, yeah, water aerobics thing. Aerobics in general ain't no joke.
It'll fuck you up. Water aerobics will fuck you up because it's like, okay, clap above your head. And then meanwhile, you're like, doing this the whole time so you don't drown.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's, okay, clap below. And you're like, fuck, this is hard. A baby can do this, but I'm having a hard ass time doing this shit. It was fun though.
It's the water, yeah. Okay. But then again, when we
it's even better when you've been having free shots of tequila all damn day. Yeah. Girl, we gotta go to Mexico.
That's the one thing I wish we would have gotten on the boat. Free drinks.
Tequila? Oh.
Well, free drinks in general. I mean, I could have probably flirted and got free drinks, but at the same time, I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to be bothered.
Right.
I didn't want to be bothered. Like, you remember that one guy at the hot tub who was just like, you guys should come to the casino. And I was like,
like, I don't know. I don't want to. No, I don't think I want
casino
to.
Me? And I was like, here's the reason I don't go to casinos. I don't like the odds of me losing money ever.
Right.
I'm like, I am not an affluent person. I work for every motherfucking penny I got. You think I want to go and no.
I'm not the one. I am
not one. Not I, said the cat. But it's interesting to see how frequently I have a torrent relationship with church. The thing is, I am a spiritual person, but I believe the practices of a lot of people in the church are deceitful, hateful, downright just scandalous.
Yeah, I agree.
And yet they want to sit there and say, here's the point blank in discussion. I tell everybody this. I am not here to judge. One thing I know in the Bible is let he without sin cast the first stone. So I can't throw no motherfucking rocks at nobody. And all these people walking around thinking that you can throw rocks at people because, well, I read the Bible. So have I. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, you read the Bible. But the moment you start to say, I've read the Bible, so whoop, 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 whoop. You don't need to boast about it. Honestly, it's in the Bible not to boast about it. Because you're doing it for attention for you.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Well, and that's why people who say that, it's their excuse. It's their crutch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At the end of the day.
I get to say these hateful things. I get to share my hateful opinion because I've XYZ. And it's like,
I go to church every Sunday.
You could read it all you want. If you're
in 3 different languages.
If you're not interpreting it, if you're not practicing it.
That's it.
Then it's moot.
That's it. It's not even the problem is the interpretation. The problem is the interpretation.
Well,
because all these people
is the idea of I read it, so now I can do whatever I want. I've given my heart to Jesus, so now I can do whatever I want. You know, that's how a lot of people are doing it now, is what I've noticed.
Oh, yeah. And then they hide behind the guise of, well, I can't be hateful. I'm Christian.
Exactly. It's an excuse. Okay, saying you're Christian is not a get out of jail free card.
It's like, if you want to talk about it, be about it.
Actions speak so much louder than words. Because
you want to talk about it, be about it. A lot of them
are they talking a whole lot, but they ain't saying nothing.
I don't need your lip service.
Talking loud, but you ain't saying nothing.
Nope. I don't need your lip service. If I wanted somebody to just blow smoke up my ass, I would pay somebody to blow smoke up my ass.
I'm sure you could find some gentlemen online real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. I tell people, because anytime I used to say, oh, well, yeah, I'm Christian. And even saying that now comes with such negative connotations that I tell people, like, I am a holy person. I am an anointed being. Yes. But do I believe everything that clergymen and the cloth spout? No. Because I believe what I read. I see what I read. And in the Bible, I read how feed the sick, feed the hungry, heal the sick, house the poor, take care of your fellow neighbor. And it's just it's a caveat. It's an asterisk.
But in a political society, and more than that, in a capitalistic society,
that's it.
That doesn't read as being truly Christian. That reads as being a communist, a socialist, not a communist.
A social, yeah. And it's like, clearly, y'all don't.
You're communist. You want to heal the sick. Socialist. Socialist.
But here's the thing. At what point in time is that a bad thing?
Even Nikki woke up and she was like, did this dumb hoe just say what I think she said? You can't see her in the frame, but...
And she's over there looking at you like, excuse?
She's so cute. I'm going to do an annoying thing right now. Look at her. Look at her. Aww. I love her so much. Hi, Nikki. I'm so glad that you found a cozy spot.
She's just like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to get the fuck out of this room.
She likes that penguin.
I know. That's now her penguin.
And now I feel like I need to justify. This is why there's a cardboard box behind me, is because I was trying to build a cozy spot for my kitty.
Well, yeah. I was like, yeah, I know.
But you know, but onlookers might not.
Onlookers would not know that.
And then the cardboard box over here, that's Sid's. That's Sid's cardboard box.
Good on you. Keep them apart, because Sid likes to fuck with her.
Yeah, earlier today he cornered her in the bathroom, and she will growl when she's not having it. And she was usually it's like growl and then hiss and then like bat bat bat, and then he'll finally like run away. She was just continuing. So I was like, okay, I need to intervene. And he had cornered her to a spot where she had no chance of escape. It was like behind the toilet. And so I chased him out of there, grabbed him, and he even had like a claw sheath like stuck in his cheek. So I'm like, she got you. You ain't bleeding, but she got you, and you know what? You deserved it. Stop being an asshole.
See, that's the thing. Like, so JoJo will go after Davos from time to time. And typically if they're just running back and forth, we're like, fuck it, whatever. It's only when we hear the am I like, hey, cut that shit out. Like, it used to be boys, stop. But one day I was dead to the world asleep. And you know me. That is dead to the world sleeping. And all I hear is, wow. 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 And then I hear of him running into my boyfriend's room.
Yeah.
I shoot up and I sound like my dad, so I was like, "Ooh, you better put that John Sharpley, you better go back in there." better go back in there. Because I woke up and was like, hey, cut that shit out.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, ooh, you can go back in there. You did not. Instant woke up and just, hey.
Instinctual. Absolutely.
But the thing is, I was just like looking at him and he's looking at me and I'm like, don't make me get out of this bed, please.
Well, and like, this is the first time I'd ever noticed this on Sid too. His tail was real fluffy.
He was probably scared because she's probably just like, mostly when a cat has that bap, their claws are retracted. It's just, stop that.
No, but for her when he is antagonizing her, when he is torturing her, she is like, I ain't fucking with you. You know, like she's like, she's not just meow, she's like, like, not just hissing, she's straight growling. And I tell him every single time, I'm like, one day she gonna fuck you up real good and you're gonna deserve it. And that day could have been today had I not interfered. But his tail was real fluffy. I found that sheath, claw sheath in his cheek. Got that out, and I was holding him up like a baby for a minute because I know he hates it, and I'm just like, hey, look at me, and he's kind of like, yeah, because you know you done fucked up.
But here's the thing, I want her to get him, but not bad, because I'm like, man, that's gonna be a vet bill, and that's gonna be a big.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I don't want either of them to.
Actually hurt each other, but you're like,
either of them to draw blood. I don't want either of them to hurt each other. But anytime he's fucking with her real bad, I'm like, now you know you done deserve that.
That's the part. It's like, you know, you earned that, right? You know that wasn't she flipped out. You earned that. Mm-hmm. That was an earned situation. Mm-hmm. But not, man. Oh God. It's so weird to tell people. It's like, I'm a spiritual person, but I'm also a person who looks at spirituality in different. There's 1,000 ways to jump into a pool. There's 150 ways different ways to reach enlightenment. The way I reach enlightenment is not the way you're going to reach enlightenment.
I agree, absolutely, and especially with like, I remember being in church, any church, and like, being uncomfortable because it would start.
It'll start fine.
It'll start great, and then it will slowly morph into hate. And I'm like, everybody is just okay with this, you know? And I thought there was something wrong with me because, you know, I'm a free thinker. I thought there was something wrong with me. And so that's why I tried over and over again without my parents to go to my friend's church and like try and feel something different. And what I discovered is like so much more hate, like more and more hate. And one of the very last times I ever went to church, and I'm just like, never again, I'm never going back to church, was me and a friend at the time, we were actually kind of helping out with like the Wednesday night youth group. And somebody came in and he was like a guest speaker, and he was like a high school kid, and he was going on and on with these youngins about how, like, you know, it's really cool to hate on your religion or hate on your faith or hate on your beliefs. You know, that's really trendy right now. But he's like, I think it's really cool to really be solid in your faith and really love the Lord and really love Jesus, and he's like, that's what's really cool. That's what makes you cool. And I was
there's nothing wrong with that.
And I was like, this is the best thing you could be telling kids. And I was like, wow, I am so impressed with the message that you're giving these kids.
That's the truth.
And then he ended it with, besides, it's not like we're a dumb religion that believes that cows are magic or something. And then all these kids started laughing, and I was like, you had a perfect speech, and then you fucked it up by making fun of somebody else's beliefs. I'm like, that does not make you any better than any other bully.
No,
like, that's what you are. That's organized religion, just a collection of bullies.
It really is, because it's not. It's how I see enlightenment is. I understand that people's different religions play different roles in their life. So I've always been a person, and I even tell people in my family who are very religious, I'm like, it's not my job to convert people. It's not my job. If they want to, people, one of the best things I feel that was ever given to humanity by a higher power is the ability to choose. Mm-hmm. The ability to choose. He didn't make people do it. Because here's the thing. Could have just Garden of Eden hard reset. Could have just scrap it all, start over.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He was like, you wanted knowledge, now you have it. But I'm going to set before you a choice of good and evil. Like, I set before you a choice of life and death. Choose life over death. But it's like, he still gave us the choice. At a time, it could have just been, wipe the slate clean. You have a choice. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You can choose. It's not my job to tell, as your friend, it's not my job to be like, oh no, Jen, you should be Christian. No, you should be Christian.
Right. Or you're doing it wrong. Or I don't agree with it because it's not what I do. And that's why that's where there's a lot of xenophobia in it too. You know, where it's you're doing it different than what I do. So it must be wrong. And it's like, just different does not mean wrong.
Yeah, and it's not just xenophobia. It's worse than that, in my opinion. Xenophobia is, I just don't like you and I'll make you uncomfortable about it. It's downright demonizing people who think differently. Mm-hmm. When I started my mental health journey, I was 16. And to preface this, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, you really had mental health issues, because I have always been a melancholy child. I only knew the word melancholy because I was called it so much growing up. Oh, you're just shy, or you're just having a melancholy day. And I was like, what does that word even mean?
Right. So why are you calling me a vegetable?
Right.
That's how I always felt about it.
I looked it up and I was like, melancholy means kind of just sad and blue. And I was like,
very aloof, indifferent, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess. Turned out I had clinical fucking depression my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, I can remember being happy, but there always being that little bit of me that could never, like, I could be 90% happy, and there's still that 10% I just can't get to.
Oh, yeah. The first time I spoke to a therapist when I was a child, I was 9.
See, you started earlier.
Maybe even younger than that. Well, I primarily because I had divorced parents, you know.
Right.
And there was a lot of, no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There was a lot of fuckery in that alone, you know. Mm-hmm. And so started seeing a therapist, and I remember this woman was like just speaking to me like a human, not belittling me, not talking down to me, you know, not being condescending. She was just like, you know, tell me how you feel and tell me what you think you need to be better. And I'm like, I just honestly just I'm like, sometimes I just wake up and I'm just sad and I don't know why. Nothing brought it on. I'm just sad. That's depression. Or I think that maybe my parents would be better off if I wasn't there. That's depression. That's not normal thoughts for a child, you know. And I'm not saying my parents' divorce isn't what caused my depression. No, it was inherited. You know, both of my parents are also
clinically depressed.
Yes. And it was the, you know, because my parents' biggest issue with me was that I was hyperactive because I was a child, you know. And at one point my mom was like, she needs to go on Ritalin, and thank God for my dad. He was like, no, she's 6. She's gonna run around. She doesn't need to be on Ritalin. And because I was, you know, going to school okay. And as we know now, as adults, you know, just about every woman that we know has undiagnosed ADD. Makes a lot of sense now. makes a lot of sense now. And
yeah, and the only reason I found out about it was working at a school, which, sidebar, some of the people who worked at that school were amazing people. I love a majority of the people who worked at that school. They were very kind. Fuck that school. Fuck it. Fuck that school. Fuck that school. Not the second one, the first one. Mm-hmm. Fuck that school. And she was able to tell me a lot of things that I didn't even know. Like, you know how I don't like things that are uneven. Like, asymmetry is okay in some things. Yeah. Like, if it's purposely asymmetry. Like, you know, I get my nails done. I hate that bullshit where you got coffin tips on these nails and then this is a stiletto. Why does this need to be different? Why? Just get them all one shape or not. Why? Or when they do, these are squares or blunt, and then these are stilettos. And you're like, this is no, it's fucking ugly and fucking stupid. Stop it. I already have a bone to pick with square nails. Yes, I will die on the hill. Square nails are fucking ugly. Stilettos are cute. Coffins are cute. But them square nails, why the fuck your nails need to look like chiclets?
Okay, for real.
Why do your nails need to look like chiclets?
When somebody has acrylic nails done by a professional and they come out looking like
square,
like they were press-ons, but not even the good press-ons out of like one of those really, really bad like kits of makeup and nail stuff that you would give to like a child. That's what it.
Oh, like the dollar store.
Because they all end up, since they're not tapered, they all end up looking like they're much too big for your nail bed.
Exactly, and like. That's my okay, so that's my opinion. Square, but they're fucking ugly in my opinion.
I am the type of person I would get the asymmetrical ones for sure.
But I found out that's a sensory issue. She's like, that's a sensory issue. She was like, do you walk around the house barefoot? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, sensory issue. You don't like things touching your feet, do you? I was like, no. I hate that. She's like, that's a sensory issue.
And I'm the opposite. I prefer to have shit on my feet. I'm alone in my house.
I only do that when the floor is cold.
My house is carpeted.
But you know my house. Wood floors everywhere. The only place that there's carpet is in my bedroom. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Barefoot. I sleep barefoot. I can't sleep in socks. The one time I slept in socks, I yanked them socks off and like I still lost my sock. My boyfriend doesn't know. I threw my sock behind his TV and I'm gonna never get that sock back. He's gonna move and then I'm gonna get that sock back. But I launched that sock.
You and Rachel both. You're the type, and they're both Cancers. You're both like very similar. Where like she needs to be barefoot. Nearly. Now, if her feet get cold enough, she will sleep in socks. That don't mean that they're going to stay on.
No. Same. If I get cold enough, I will sleep in socks. But guarantee, halfway through the night, they're going to get kicked off in my sleep, or I'm going to get so behemoth that feels like I'm being suffocated.
Yeah. I feel a lot more comfortable with having things on my feet.
True. But it goes deeper than that. And she was like, how do you feel if you touch something that's wet or sticky and you weren't expecting it? I was like,
yeah, I don't think anybody likes that.
No, but some people
I don't think anyone's like, yay, something wet and sticky past the age of 6.
But it's indifferent. They're just like, oh, that's wet and sticky.
Right.
Okay.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, but it makes me gag. If I touch something that I'm not anticipating being sticky and it's sticky, I gag. And she's like, that's a sensory issue. So I found out from some woman that I had sensory issues that were completely undiagnosed. But here's the thing. It goes back further than that. Because a lot of African American kids, their parents don't know to ask those questions.
Right.
They don't know to go to their pediatrician and ask those questions. And
there's so much stigma with like learning. Learning if your child has a mental health issue, and so autism is a spectrum. So there are certainly some things that I do, or that some of my character traits that I'm like, oh, definitely, that's
That, like I told
That's
you,
not. I'm like, is it like show? I would like to meet somebody who is absolute zero on the autism spectrum, at 100% neurotypical.
I believe they would be a very boring individual.
I don't know if I want to know that person. I don't know if I want to. I would be terrified of that person. I already get weirded out when people are like, I don't have an inner monologue. I'm like, then what's going on in your brain? Nothing. So you just hear nothing. Right. How?
But I've already told you, I'm pretty sure, because I can remember, even if I've heard it once. You've even asked me, like, when we were in college, you said a series of numbers just randomly out loud. And then you were like, I forgot that. What numbers was it? And I just recited the numbers. And you looked at me like I had lost my mind and grew a second head. Because you were just like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm pretty positive that's a series of numbers that you just said. I remember patterns and numbers. My brother, he had the ability to take cardboard boxes, and I distinctly remember it because my brain could never figure out how he could do it. And he would take cardboard boxes and create intricate little planes that action figures and dolls could sit in. I'm not shitting you. Yes. Yes. He would cut them up, tape them together, and he could create tiny little intricate planes and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty damn impressive.
The boy is a walking calculator. When he was younger, mom would ask him what 5% of something, like if we were shopping, and he would be able to tell her what the final price of it would be.
I never would have guessed.
He's hot. Here's the thing, people, if they were to meet me and my brother, first of all, don't let him fool.
Oh no, you froze!
On a good day. Okay? On a good day. Gotta catch him on a good day. But he's super, super fucking smart. Too damn smart for his own good sometimes. Super fucking smart, though. Can do mathematics, no problem. I and my dad were on the opposite end. I was reading at a second grade. I was reading at a 6th grade reading level.
Right. You're much more, what do they call that? Left brain, where you're much more artistic, much more driven by like literature and language and
history.
Yeah, where he's much more right brain. He's just like,
very analytical.
Engineering and design and architecture and mathematics and all that gross stuff.
But the thing is, I think he can do both, because back when he was a kid, he used to draw a lot. He's highly artistic, but I think he kind of forgot that piece of him because he got really, really, really involved in sports. Mm. And I don't think he ever could let that other side flourish because he focused so much on sports. And I wonder if there is a separate secondary universe where my brother went for art. Honestly, he's a highly intelligent person. I don't see why he doesn't do art shit. He could. Well, I know why he doesn't do it now. He's a dad, so you ain't got time to do shit. You barely got time to wipe your ass in the morning. You're getting bugged by people 24/7, 365 days a year. You get no off days. You are a dad.